And this is making you ill?
Yeah, I'm really not getting the premise of this promo.
Regardless, the non-productive block, like hard cheese, it'll sit with you forever. Every day starting at midnight on the Non-Productive Network. Yeah, who knows how much of that was exaggerated.
Yeah.
And I lie a lot. A little drunk. Kind of high. Shot some heroin into my balls.
Get back in your corner, Frank.
I just said I shot heroin into my balls and no one paid attention. I was just like the governor.
Because when you say things like that, we all just kind of ignore it and hope that you stop.
This is the Non-Productive every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m.
We really need to learn the time of the show.
In a world obsessed with mediocrity, where boring radio is the norm, the people cried out for a savior.
No, I'm just done. Just take an audit and see if it doesn't change your life.
Nobody cares about our thetan counts.
But it's over 9,000!
And finally, these men have answered the call, hailing from all walks of life.
Okay, guys, seriously, quit it with the Asian jokes.
These men join together, unified by a common goal, armed only with their wits.
Because your mom.
Their intelligence.
You have to turn the mics on before you can talk.
And their raw charisma.
Hey, baby, I'm Oscar Schindler, and I'm putting you on my list.
They are all that stand between the people and the mainstream media.
OMG, I love that Miley Cyrus.
However, our heroes are beset on all sides by enemies who try to stifle their creativity.
Fuck you, Mom! I'm doing a radio show!
And force them to conform to the corporate culture.
Oh wow, this Crystal Pepsi tastes so refreshing coming from my promotional 7-Eleven Avatar sippy cup.
And now, you can follow their epic quest.
Hey, pass me a slice of pizza.
No, it's too heavy.
This is the saga of the Line Cutters. Coming to you only from the Non-Productive Network every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
These are coming.
How do you do? Mr. Carl Lemley feels it would be a little unkind to present this picture without just a word of friendly warning. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Correctly with the correct amount.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbine to speed.
We've got bat robots hunting down Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
It sounded good at the time, but I don't see this working out now.
Who the hell are you, anyway?
I don't know.
Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
Long Shot Ken.
I see this whole segment going wrong.
Big Papa P.
Just sitting out in the air and gathering flies.
There is another dude, I forget.
Den.
You didn't clone a person, you cloned a god.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Loud Idiots radio broadcast, your source for comic books, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, professional wrestling, and all the various and diverse elements of geek culture. So strap yourself to your chair, pull open your ears, and grab your D20 tight, because the show is about to begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is early.
No,
sort of.
Actually,
It's
we're
early.
on time for a change.
Yeah. No, it's 8:03. We're a little bit late. But you guys were hearing us.
Close enough on time.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. We are the Loud Idiots. I am Long Shot Ken.
I'm the Monkey Boy.
I'm the big dog, Dan.
And I'm Big Papa Pete.
This is going to be a great episode of the Loud Idiots. We are privileged and honored to have some musicians with us tonight. We have members from the band Blue Movie with us. Who do we have with us tonight?
I'll go first. Tony Paris, guitars. And Lisa Fodor, drums.
All right, guys, listen, I want to thank you for coming out tonight, and for everybody listening out there who's tuning in live. If well, of course you are listening to Non-Productive.com, but if you didn't know, we have MPN TV. So if you check out that homepage, you can actually click on MPN TV. You can actually see what's going on in the studio with us and our guests tonight. Again, welcome.
See our lovely guests in Ken's ugly mug.
Well, yeah, well, we all have faces for radio, and that's why most of the cameras are pointed towards the pretty people in the room.
Hear my disembodied voice. Whoa. Stop looking at me.
Guys, I want to start off real quick. I'm very curious. We met at New York Comic Con back in October, and I thought that it was exceptionally bizarre to have a rock band at a comic convention. And we got to do an interview with you guys where you kind of brought up the idea. How did you guys end up at New York Comic Con this year?
Well, it actually started like probably. When was Comic Con? October?
October, yeah.
Well, actually,
you really have to stop drinking because it's showing now.
Whenever you need, let me know.
Probably started like back like 3 months before that. Even before that, when we released, we did a video for one of the songs of our first EP, 8mm Love Songs, which was "Murder Will Out." Actually, we didn't do it; it was actually done for us, written for us. They just said to just show up and do it. And anyway, it ended up being like a comic horror kind of a thing. And then before you know it, all these people like gravitated to it, and then people, certain artists from the tri-state area like said, "Listen, let's do a comic book where all different artists could do their own rendition of what they thought we were." And next thing you know, we're at Comic-Con.
So it's like a huge whirlwind. All of a sudden, the idea is there. We're going to make comic book interpretations of you guys, give it out to a whole bunch of artists, write a story. You guys just chill and just do whatever the hell you're doing. It's
I was
fine.
like, rock on. I've been dying to see myself as kind of a cartoon character anyway, so I was like, go for it. Especially having 5 different artists like depict you 5 different ways. It was exciting, I think.
Patrick McQuaid is actually a very well-known artist. He does like zombies for what's his name? For Rob Zombie. He does something with his Rob Zombie's comic book. So I got to give him some props because he portrayed me with an axe, a huge axe.
So let me ask you something. You guys are out in Manhattan performing regularly, larger than life on stage. How did it actually feel seeing yourself larger than life as a character in a book?
Well, you know what? For me, I had the axe, so I was very happy.
That's what I'm saying, because he's all excited. He's got this axe, and he's just like, I'm done. I'm happy. I can die now.
I thought it was
Can I take this home?
I thought it was so cool because usually, you're used to putting in so much work to get a great product, and for once we were kind of like sitting back, and all of a sudden there it was. We didn't really have to do much for it. I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes kind of work, but to have other artists involved and to see them, really, I mean, they had to really pull it together, and we didn't give them much time as far as like, hey, you like that idea? Awesome. Here's Comic-Con like in a month, So they really worked very, very hard, and it was great to just be, working on music and this, that, and all of a sudden be shown this amazing product.
And every single one of them was actually there at Comic-Con. Which one of these artists, you know what? We have the comic book here because I've only looked at it like maybe 3 or 4 times.
Now, have you guys read it?
Honestly.
Yes,
have you guys read it?
Yeah, we read it actually. I read it the day of Comic-Con.
They all kind of had to be approved. That was the one thing I was going to say. We all had to like kind of look at it and
you know what? The girl. Let me just tell you this way. We have 2 females in the band. Okay.
I love it.
Can I say the word females?
All good stories are prefaced that way. So there were 2 females in the band.
Guys were like, we're like, yo, we're having a photo shoot next week. Okay, cool. We just show up. These girls start stressing hard. I mean, and they stress us hard. It's like stress, big time. So like for the comic, like they're opening it up, they're reading it, they're like, okay, you know what? Actually, Lisa had an issue with one.
When the girls actually read it the first time, we didn't actually read it. What we did was we thumbed through to see how great we looked. That's the truth.
And she sat there with my boobs really aren't that big.
That's exactly
I'm not really sure what that story was about, but I can tell you how I looked.
Exactly. You got to understand the whole comic book genre. Everything is exaggerated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, Tony, I don't know how that went down, but
he did have an axe.
He already said giant axe.
Giant axe.
The artists were kind.
So let me ask you though. So a comic book was done. Can you give us a little bit about what the plot of the comic was?
Well, actually, it's 3 or 4
it's
different
like 5
stories.
different
it's like,
depictions.
That's what I'm like. We have a copy
the
here,
first,
don't we?
yeah, we do. The first story actually was picked
it.
up. Pete Berg actually went ahead and did the first story, and he picked it up from where the Murder Will Out video left off. and he kind of did his own depiction. I don't know if you've seen the video.
I will say, for those who haven't seen it, it's got a really cool look to it. It almost is reminiscent of a Saw movie to a degree at some point.
It's eerie and
it's got a creepy vibe to it, but it's artistic and it's just very cool.
And you know, we definitely went out on a limb with that video, because when the director came to us and said, "Hey, I love this song. I have this vision for it," we were like, "All right, cool. What is it about?" And we saw the storyboard and everything, and we were like, "This is a little risky, because you putting one video out to kind of represent an entire album, and the minute we put the video out, everybody thought we were goth." And I'm like, no, you don't understand. We're very theatrical. And this was just a director's spin, and we agreed, because I would say at least half the band love horror movies and that kind of stuff.
Don't let the eyeliner fool you.
Exactly. Well,
it was actually the director was actually Joseph Eisenstein with Visions of Tomorrow, and he's done a couple of music videos. And when he called us into I guess the studio at that point, he's like, "Okay, listen, I want I love the song, etc., etc." He's like, "Okay, let me show you." We had one meeting. The second meeting was like, "Okay, you know what? Let me show you guys what I have in mind." So, I figured they'd be like chicks and stuff, garter belts running around. He shows me this thing. It was like a demonic exorcism.
I was in leather booty shorts. What more do you want, Tony?
I'm scrolling through it. I'm like,
hold on.
Lisa, what did you say you were in?
I was in little leather booty shorts and these really high patent leather ginormous heels.
Wait, how do we?
I don't know what else
Tony dressed me.
How do we get a
Sorry,
copy of this
Tony,
book?
we just lost you.
Bye. No, well, yeah, we saw the storyline, and I'm like, okay, well, the main characters weren't really the band. The band was the whole thing of this was we're possessing. It was like an Edward Allan Poe kind of a thing, So we're possessing this chick in her mind. It's just going through two different dimensions, like reality and what's going on in her head. So here we are, we're the band. I'm like, okay, you know what? We're not gonna look like we're evil. You chicks gotta look like whatever. So I got the most skimpiest sluttiest thing that I could possibly. She couldn't even believe she wore that, And
I was like, "You want me to find what and what?"
Wait,
I'm gonna let you in on something just because I think this is so funny. When we actually,
show me where that is.
When they gave me the actual drawing of what my outfit looked like, I'm like, "All right, cool." So I have these little leather booty shorts, and then I have these ginormous heels, tall boots. Well, I tell you, I looked all over for these things. Lo and behold, where did I have to buy them? At a porn shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
$80 for these things that I used, twice maybe? Because that was Tony's vision.
Audience, I have to paint a picture for the audience.
Good vision.
I got to paint a picture for the audience, because as soon as she started opening her mouth, everyone's eyes just diverted as a whiplash effect, and just listened intently to everything that Lisa just had to say to us. I love it.
That's what you have to do. You start whatever you want to say. Just start with, "I was wearing leather booty shorts and tall boots, and I guarantee whoever you are, eyes will go your way."
And the next time is, I was walking around in these assless chaps.
Don't keep telling me any ideas for the next video.
It really doesn't work as well though when we sit back.
Actually, no.
Because if
I can vouch for that, because I have started off conversations the exact same way, and I get just as much rapt attention. I think it's for a very different reason.
But the look is more like horror.
Yeah, very different look on people's faces.
Speaking of which, next video idea for you guys.
There was a word that was used, or was it clitorii? That's stuck in my head now.
It wasn't here.
That was the pre-show.
It was the multiple vaginal piercings that you said, right? That's the one. See, I got to write it down for my head.
Wow. No, Ken, I don't do drag anymore.
Anymore. Exactly.
Qualify that. How do you do it?
So I'm going to ask you, we're going to bring this back full circle. You guys were at Comic-Con. What was the Comic-Con experience like for you?
That's awesome.
It was. I've been to Comic-Con before because I actually, now I'm going to say the word, and it's like get off tangent. I have a Darth Vader motorcycle. Okay, I have a Vader.
How come you're pointing at me?
Because I know what's coming here. I have a Vader.
Well, you said motorcycle. You got me now.
Now you got two right here.
I got a custom Hayabusa bike, which if you guys ride around, but it's like it was about 2 years into the making, and it's like a Darth Vader bike. Yes, and it's like the whole bike is black. But when you flick the switch, actually, if you look it up on VaderBooster.com, it always comes up. But not that
Shameless
I care whether you look at it anyway. But anyway, it doesn't mean anything. But anyway, the whole bike is black, and you flick some switches and stuff, and Vader's head comes out on the side. It says like the AC/DC logo, but it says back in black. really cool, you know.
Nice.
It's
Very cool bike.
really, really awesome.
Back in the 80s, I had something like that, but it was a plastic scooter from GoBots, and you could flip the head, and it was Scooter's face. And I'm pedaling around like a little retard at like 8 years old in the 80s.
Yeah,
so
I
that's, you know, that traveled actually. So I've been to Comic-Con, I've seen
That's
it, and
cool.
I'm like, you know what? And I told them, I mean, you know, I don't know if the girls haven't done it. I'm like, yo, Comic-Con is insane. I'm like, yeah. It's, meanwhile, when we got to the doors, like, all days passes sold out, you know, for like X amount of
Yeah, it
days.
was crazy.
I know it was insane, but yeah, it was a.
You sold out the entire Javits Center? What?
Yeah. Like days before it even opened.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Days before.
But so like I said, being a part of it though, like what is going on in your head as you're at your table and seeing this myriad of all these different types of people walking around, costumes, non-costumes, artists, you know.
I was thinking.
What are we doing here?
I was thinking, God, what time is lunch? No, it really was an experience. I'd never been to anything like that before. And, you know, first of all, I think it's great the way people really go all out and just really go to the nines with this kind of stuff and really dress themselves up. And what was really fun for me, and I'm sure I speak for the rest of the band as well when I say this, was that being that we were our own characters, we got to dress up.
Yeah.
So we were really part of the whole experience in every sense of the word. Not only were we in costume, we had comic books, other merch, we had T-shirts, and so it was definitely. I was glad it was 3 days because it was a lot to take in.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, did you get to walk around?
Not as much as I would have liked to.
Yeah, I went to the Star Wars area.
Well, I'm sure you did.
I didn't get to walk around because he was like, "Just wait there a second."
Yeah, exactly.
We cover it almost every year now, and we can walk around for all 3 days and still not see everything.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
We actually learned one important thing. If we're working, we cannot dress up in costume because you get stopped every 5 feet to someone to take a picture.
Well, I'm sure they were too, but
Yeah,
they
now
were
both,
just, you know.
Yeah.
They were coming, like, we got so many pictures of, like, various characters coming through our booth. They were coming in the back and stuff. I mean, and the funny thing is, you know what? We had a great spot because it was right next to the men's room. It was literally right. Remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't even a spot, but I happened to know somebody at the Javits Center. I'm like, listen, yo, you know, he goes, listen, I got a spot for you. He goes, it's not really a spot, but I'll give it to you. I'm like, cool. Next thing we know, we go there. It's like, I didn't even go there to set up. Somebody went there to set up, and they called me like, yo, there's a bunch of flies around our booth. I'm like, what? You know, the gnats, the little gnats?
Thank God they were there by the time I got there.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
you were
oh,
next
my.
to the men's room, and there's garbage cans right next to
Exactly.
it.
It was like, you know, it was like swampland. But you know what? Everybody that came through were like
It really
right
kind of was a
there.
key
And I
spot.
guarantee you, everybody that you saw coming through was happy because they had just gone to the bathroom.
They would look at the girls and they would go right to the bathroom. For some reason. Like running, coming out tired.
Sweet.
You know what? Before I forget, I just want to, like, you know what? We better say the people that were involved in the comic. We better mention the names. We're gonna catch a lot of shit. Okay, Pete Berg, who was the first, we did the first story of in the comic book,
Right.
and then there was Patrick McQuaid, and then there was better not forget this
Frank
one.
Powers.
Frank Powers. And then Michael Rosenberg, who actually had the coolest part in this book. All he wrote was like,
Rosenzweig.
yeah, well,
Good
same
thing I
difference. Okay, he wrote OFU, whatever. I forgot to get a bio. Sorry, that was the whole page of the whole comic. His website,
There's
basically.
actually one other artist, I believe, was Jay Koza, who actually
Yes.
did the individuals of us, as some of us
That's
can
the big
see
comic
here.
posters.
Yeah.
So I think we covered everybody, right?
Yeah, I think we
Very
got
nice.
everybody.
Nice.
I'm sure if we forgot anyone, we'll get emails tomorrow.
Took the back and said, okay, yeah, we got everybody. Good.
Well, I'm already calling Epic Fail and Tony for forgetting half the names. So-
Exactly.
Oh, that was very good, very concise. I never even had to get the playing them off music, like in the Oscars. It's like, okay, the thank yous have gone on too long.
Maybe some applause.
little murder will outplays as there.
Shut up, Meryl Streep. Shut up. We have to get we have to get ready for Seth Rogen to speak.
And while
Speaking
we're
of
getting
which,
I say while we're getting rid of Meryl Streep, we have to make room for.
yeah, speaking of people with big bushy eyebrows and who are stoners.
Hey, I have very thin eyebrows because I shave them off.
And what else do you shave?
Hey now.
Arms are busy right now. I've got stubble and it looks like I've got James in a headlock with his beard sticking out. It's pretty gnarly. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I was waiting
Missed
for
you,
Chewbacca
darling.
in a headlock, but okay.
No, James's beard is definitely furrier than Chewbacca at the moment.
And of course, the illustrious Taffy Darling has joined us. How are you doing tonight, honey?
Hi, Lexi. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're having fun. We've got the guys from Blue Movie Band with us tonight, and we're just yucking it up right now. What?
Huh?
I said hello to the band.
Hey, what's going on?
There we go.
So,
now, are we calling Texas here? Is that what we're speaking to?
well, Texas is what we call a state,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
calling a state is very difficult, Tony.
I thought it's a female
We were like,
state?
hey, Texas. You never know who's going to
Does
answer.
this state wear leather booty shorts?
Why, yes, it is.
Actually, yes, it does.
And firearms.
But no, for you guys, Taffy is also known for leather corsets at Comic-Con.
Excellent.
Yes, yes, she is.
And, just sitting around the house.
Exactly.
That's true.
Dusting, vacuuming.
Vacuuming, yes.
Yeah.
Except from what I heard, Taffy only wears a white apron when she's doing the chores around the house and
Want to
nothing
be in our
else.
next video?
You just got
I think I may have an extra white apron.
Okay, I'll be in it too.
All right.
No. She said extra white apron, not extra wide apron.
So what do you have for us tonight, Taff?
Actually, I have The Beast of Chicago. It's the murderous career of H.H. Holmes. A buddy of mine out from California sent it to me, Brett. Hi, Brett. Thank you. So this book is part of writer Rick Geary's ongoing, he's got this nonfiction comic book series. I guess it's called A Treasury of Victorian Murder. So this is the sixth one, but he's covered like Lizzie Borden and like Jack the Ripper. And in case you're unfamiliar with the subject matter, Herman Webster Mudgett, he was also known as Dr. Henry Howard Holmes. He was one of the first documented American serial killers within the modern sense of the term.
Holy
He was also a con man and had a whole bunch of wives and families. He was kind of wild.
Taffy, I got to stop you. This is so weird that you're doing this right now, because I just watched a documentary on him last night.
Whoa.
Did you? I've seen that one on Hulu. That one's really good, and if you've seen that, this book actually goes along with it really well.
Oh, cool.
This has actually kind of got me into this book, as I'm kind of into serial killers and cults and stuff like that. And I was watching this movie, and someone was like, "Have you read the book?" And I was like, "No." And so they sent it to me, and I was like, "Holy cow, it's awesome!" So you'll totally dig it if you watch that. It's awesome. It's good.
Of course you're into that.
Yeah.
You live in Dallas.
Is that like a Texas accent, or is that like a British accent? I can't really tell.
Yes.
Yes.
Guess what? To both?
It's
Yes to both?
It's actually a Southern British accent.
That's awesome, man. Keep talking.
So how do you grade this one?
I'm gonna go ahead and probably give it like a 4, because this graphic novel was really like kind of a perfect medium to explore, I guess, what they called his castle, which was like, it had a maze of secret doors, airtight rooms, gas chambers, hanging rooms. He even had like an oven where it was disposed for his victims and stuff. And like he draws it out for you in this book. Like, it's got the second floor and it has all these different breakdowns. It does a really good job breaking it down. And his interpretation is drawn from like the old newspaper reports and courtroom drawings. And then, like, to throw on the second floor that has more detailed passageways is even more incredible. I kind of got a kick out of it. I mean, like, he did a really good job putting him against the city, I guess it was the 1893 World's Fair. He did a good job presenting the history and myth, with Holmes's ever-changing, like, aliases and schemes and everything. As far as, like, the story, I think there's, a complexity to the tale already, so it's already going to be hard to have some sort of a well-developed plot, but I think he did, a good job of trying to present what was available. I wish he'd actually written more about some of the victims, that the information was out there, but I think the story was really good. The artwork is all black and white, maybe in comparison to, say, an Edward Gorey, but his work's a little bit more clean lines to it, and does a really good job of using the space. It's definitely macabre all the way through, and anyone who really likes, murder mysteries or true crime, or has seen the Hulu movie, or the movie of it itself that's available, I think, on Hulu. That's how I watched it. It's actually kind of a cool companion because it goes along, with it pretty much. He was like this crazy traveling, con man, and he went on this murder spree, which was really criminally ambitious. But to actually build like this crazy chamber labyrinth of horrors, it kind of shows today how some of our serial killers are slacking. So,
or what a normal Friday night for you is.
It's true. It's true. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was.
Hey.
I thought it was a neat gift. I had fun with it.
That's mean. You know that she doesn't go on the road. She doesn't have that much money.
I don't know which was actually more of a zinger.
Your face is a zinger.
Oh,
yeah.
Which you can actually see if you're on NPN TV tonight. Which obviously you are not.
By the way,
So I've got you beat there.
The Loud Idiots and Non-Productive networks are not responsible for any broken monitors that may result due to displaying a picture of Longshot Ken.
Nice, thank you.
I love it when I can shut her up like that.
All right, Taffy, we're gonna
That's all I got.
We're all gonna let you go. But before you leave, do you have anything upcoming for us too?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk really quickly. We have that benefit for Maddie this Saturday out in Arlington. It's at the Kegs Lounge. There's a whole bunch of bands playing. There's a silent auction, and there's a raffle going on. And this is pretty much a 4-year-old girl was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer right before Christmas, and she happens to be a family friend. So we're doing like a huge festival out there. You can check out the event page, Fight for Maddie. If you want to spread the word or whatever, that'd be awesome. But we're really just trying to give her family and herself a little bit more of a fighting chance. So that's about it.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you for calling in. It's always a pleasure talking with you. You've been a little more sporadic in your call-ins than as of late, but I'm hoping that everything's back to normal and we're going to be hearing more from you over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, we've got, February. It's coming around the corner. It's Taffeta's month of self-love. I've already recruited a few more girls to come out here and watch some of the adult features with me, and we'll have a month-long of porn reviews for you guys.
I'll be there.
That does remind me. That does remind me. I do have to send your viewing material to you, don't I?
Absolutely.
All right, then I know I am looking forward to it, and apparently Tony, our guest tonight, is apparently really looking forward to it.
I'm booking my flight on my iPad right now.
All right, Taff.
Nice.
All right, Taff. We're gonna let you go, but take care and have a great night, hon.
Thanks a lot. Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Wait, you weren't booking your flight. You were just perusing porn.
Yeah, on your network.
And remember,
Which is a lot harder to find on Kayak.
And remember, always check out Taffy Darling at thetaffydarling.com. Pete, I think it's almost about time for a break.
Oh, it's just about time.
And when we come back, we do have Lisa and Tony from Blue Movie with us. I really want to get into how the band got together when we get back. And I know you guys haven't been on the road much, but I'm sure gig stories are always the best. So we're gonna have to get into that when we come back.
So yeah, stay tuned because we're not going anywhere.
Nah, and you better not either.
Yeah, enjoy some of their music.
There it is.
right, we are back, Loud Idiots Radio Show. We have the guys from Blue Movie with us. We having fun?
We are.
How many times have you heard this song now?
Oh my God.
Too many?
Enough.
If I had a penny for every time, it's been a lot.
Well, let me ask you.
Like last night, I just said that. Last night, we're going. Like I said, we're trying to figure out the stuff with the new album because we're like, we probably can't. No, we can't. But we're trying to figure out we're going to play the new album. So you're like, okay,
because it's so intense.
Because it's so intense.
It's so intense to figure out how we're going to bring that live.
We record, but we can't play. No, I'm only kidding. But so at the end we're like, so Lisa starts getting into like one of the old, one of the songs from the first EP, and then we play it. Which one was it again?
Murder Will Out?
No, the other one. No, not that
Lessons,
one.
We did
Lessons
with
learned.
Lessons Learned.
So
yeah.
then we're like, should we do Murder Will Out for the end? We're like, let's not do it. But then these guys came in and were like checking us out. Actually, we started playing it, and we had like a little bit of an audience out.
A couple people were knocking on the door, popping their heads, and that kind of
we
thing.
heard, well, what's this and all that. We're like, you know what? Okay, whatever.
The one key thing you have to remember is even though we may have heard it 1,000 times, there's still people who are hearing it for the first time.
Exactly. Right. And that was where I was going. You've done the song numerous times. Does it bother you after a while having to play the same stuff, or no?
Definitely not.
Do you find yourself going off on a little bit, changing a little bit as you go along, hitting a different rhythm or anything, or are you monogamous to it?
hitting the wrong notes,
I think for that song in particular, because it's so structured and there's certain layers to it that if it's not present, like we had done a radio show and we were playing live, and I had forgotten my China cymbal, which is a huge part of Murder Will Out. That gives it that
shh. Yeah, right.
And I forgot it was like a mess that day. I forgot my snare. I had to use their snare. Their snare was like hitting, I don't even know, it was like a poing sound. And then without the China, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but from my perspective, that song, although I played it the same way as I usually do, it just didn't sound to me like Murder Will Out, because it was missing, even though it was just a cymbal and maybe for some people just a snare sound, it was everything. So for that song in particular, it just follows such a format. Not everything is like that,
Well, let me ask you, because I mean, in listening to the song, you have like synthesized orchestrals going in the background. What do you guys do for that when you do it live?
Rick actually plays it.
Really?
Yeah, and we got to actually give credit because that specific keyboard part originated from an 80s band called Alphaville, which I don't know if you guys remember. They had a song called I don't remember. What the heck was the name of the song? Now you know it because anyway, they had a pretty popular song. So it's like just that little 3-second part. It always stuck in my head, and I had done an arrangement on it. And before we put the band together, it was just like me and Lisa, and I let her hear it. And she's like, I could see us walking on stage with this, and that's about it, like a nature thing. I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, there it is.
It almost sounds like entrance music.
Right.
I mean, personally, it's one of the highest compliments that I could say, like currently, because we're huge pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could see like a big name guy coming out to this at a huge event.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's theatrical. You got the synthesized orchestrals. It's just so big.
Yeah. I feel like
giant walking in or something.
If it grabs you from the beginning, then we did what we wanted to do.
There you go.
Right.
Now I'm gonna jump. We're gonna jump back a little bit. First off, how'd you guys meet? Well, because we know the other guys.
That grunt, I love it.
The other guys in the band are not here, so you got to be careful. Because what you say could come back to haunt you.
Yeah, you know
this
what?
is when you get to have fun.
Will.
They're not going to hear this.
Right?
Yeah, don't listen.
And my other question is, where did the title Blue Movie come from?
Okay. Well, let's first go how we met. Well, should we do like the clean version of this?
I'll start, and then you can take over. Okay.
I'll help you out.
Should we use names?
I'll help you out. I'll help you out.
No.
Who is doing who?
No.
Who wanted to do
Tony,
that?
understand something. Tony's like my brother. I love him to death, but sometimes I want to beat him with a shoe.
Which is usually the latter of the two, which is like 90% of the time.
Well, real quick, too, to give everybody who isn't seeing this a little bit of a visual, Lisa and I were talking about this during the pre-show, and I equate Tony as the love child, and you helped me out with this, of Richie Sambora
And Nikki
And
Sixx.
Nikki
If
Sixx.
they had a baby, Tony would be him.
I
I'm
can
like,
see
there's no
this.
female involved in this trio and stuff. You know, I mean, can we put like I don't know? Heather
And my
Locklear in?
answer is modern science is just brilliant these days. We can do anything.
That's like minor details. This is what it would be
You've
right
seen
here.
something with stem cells.
You've
It's-
seen.
Go on.
You've seen Star Wars. There's clone troopers.
Yes.
A little bit of
Imagine
radiation.
the whole world
We
of
got
me.
it covered.
No, we're done if that happens. All right, but going back, how did you guys?
We were actually in a band together, previous band together, and the band was really neither one of our genre. It was something we both kind of just, when things just like cosmically just happen.
It's a very popular band.
And,
I'm still
yeah.
waiting for that.
And so we had met, and we were the two members in the band, kind of like rocking out, doing like a little bit of like his ear candy's amazing. I'd be playing hard drums.
That was her perspective, actually, my perspective.
Oh, I like this.
No,
This
wait,
is why I'm
no,
sitting next
this
to him.
is my
Like I said, second
perspective.
elbow. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay,
What's
these
your
guys
perspective?
actually found me because I was doing a lot of production with many bands. They're like, listen, come in and produce this XYZ EP that we're going to be coming out with. I'm like, okay, so like I checked it out. I walked in. I remember the first time I saw Lisa, and she walks in with like a napkin, like, hey, what's up? I'm like, who the hell does she think she is, So I'm like, I'm like, whatever, chick, So
I was like scary Greek guy.
yeah, it's like she's wearing like some kind of, I'm like, this band was like a Daughtry kind of a band kind of a thing. I'm like, these guys are kind of light, So I'm coming in with like my metal and stuff like that. So it's like,
Well,
but
let's
again,
put the cards on the table. This band was Wings, right?
we can't say the
They don't
name.
be so lucky.
We cannot say the name because we're going to be in a lot
my
of trouble if
God.
we do.
I'm right.
Ironically, McCartney's got a new album now too.
They would
But-
only
Paul
be so
McCartney's in
lucky.
Wings?
But anyway, the thing was like, so she was wearing like this metal, so I'm like, yeah, please, Then at the first rehearsal, second rehearsal, all of a sudden it's like me and her, there were 5 members in that band. It was acoustic, electric, whatever. Me and her just like gravitated towards each other, okay? And then from doing just, the production of the CD, the recording of the CD, and I was supposed to do a couple of shows. It ended up being a year that I played with them. But Lisa was like, yo, listen, you break out of here. I'm breaking out of here with you. I'm like, yeah, what are we going to do? Meanwhile, I was playing with a bunch of other bands,
And that's how the sexual tension starts.
Yes, that's usually how it starts.
Furthest thing from it. Furthest thing.
So then you can take it from there, basically. But
I just helped you out, brother. Go ahead. Take over.
So I had called him and said, listen, I really want to get back to my roots of what it is that I do, which is rock. And this is, this was a great experience, but it's not really what I want to do anymore. And they had actually called him back to do like one last show because
they threw me out the first time.
Yeah.
They
threw him out, and then we're like, you think we can get him to we'll just have him play this show and have him play that show and have him play this show. And he was kind of like my ally because we were kind of like one and the same. And then when we started playing shows without him, I was like lost. I didn't fit in at all. And so we wound up doing this, one of the last shows that I had played with them. He came back and, just did his thing. And it was like once we got on stage, like musically, it was like no one else existed. We were like, oh, this is what this is like. And him and I just rocked out. And the minute we got off the stage, we were like, all right,
we're out of here.
We got to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yep.
So I did. I kind of jumped ship on that project, and him and I were kind of bouncing ideas around. And I said, I want to do something different. I definitely want to go a little on the heavier side. Definitely needs to be different. I said, within the last 2 years, I've gotten into a lot of house music, a lot of electronica. I'd like to somehow incorporate that, kind of like make a genre all of our own, where it's little elements of all kinds of styles that we like. And so he's like, let's do this. So we were like, well, what are we going to do as far as, other musicians we can start writing in? He had actually seen an old band of mine in which Daniela was the bassist. And he had seen reunion shows we played. And I said, what do you think about Daniela? He goes, the chemistry is awesome. He goes, I definitely think we should call Daniela in, see if it works between the three of us. And so we did. We got together and we jammed. And like immediately upon the three of us entering a studio, it was just happening. It was flowing. It was working. So we were like, all right, let's forge forward with this. But just having come out of a band, the one thing I had said to Tony was, the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to wait another year. I took a year to do this last album with this band. I played out a couple shows. The last thing I want to do now is take another year off from playing out. What can we do to kind of get our name out there and get things rolling and be able to play, but yet be able to write at the same time? And then that's when we came out with the idea for the trilogy. So we had gone ahead. We wrote all the music for
trilogy. I'm sorry to cut you off. A trilogy is in a trilogy of EPs.
Yes, correct. Having 3 EPs or with 5 songs each.
But what I didn't tell them was that, in my head, okay, because I pretty much play almost every instrument, okay, so which is kind of a problem sometimes because, whatever.
Narcissism is such a problem.
When you're live, it's a problem. In studio, it doesn't matter.
Right. But the thing was like, I'm like, you know what, we're going to do 3 EPs, but who the hell gives a crap about listening to 3 different EPs from, the same band? Who cares? We'll put all of them together, put 12 songs together and, and release it. But we set out to do one with one kind of genre, which is 8mm. The second one is the sample that, you guys are going to hear today later on. And the third one that we're actually started to work on immediately now, before this one's even out, is actually more, believe it or not, more
we'll just say different. We'll just say different.
Whatever, In other words, we're not actually setting out. Yeah,
I know.
You know what it is? I think this is the best way to describe what we're doing, because most people are like, oh, well, what do you do in that genre and that genre? Most people, when they come together as a band, they work their stuff out for a year. They figure out what it is they like, and we decided to take people on the journey with us. So we're trying this one genre for the first album, see how that works. Then, taking the elements that we like from other styles.
But it's coming on naturally. We're not saying, okay,
yeah,
we're going to sound like Lady Gaga.
We don't sit and say this is the sound that we want. We just kind of it's kind of doing its own thing.
And I'll jump in too, because it does seem like a lot of artists, especially the newer ones, find a niche and a sound, and they just stay with that sound. Right. It doesn't change. They find a groove.
Evolution.
And sometimes, it just seems like a lot of the music itself, album after album, musically sounds exactly identical.
Right.
And Bon Jovi's been around for forever, but if you listen to any of his new stuff, a lot of it just sounds like rehashed old songs, and it's ridiculous. It's like,
I wish it was old songs. I wish it was like Slippery When Wet, but it sounds like
It's
musically,
watered down,
like
yeah.
instrumentally.
There comes a time when you have to break out to the box. You know?
But instrumentally, a lot of it sounds like the same songs from the 80s.
Take a chance.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys are doing here.
Absolutely. And then the one question we were constantly being asked, and I know you asked it when we got here, so if we had to describe your genre on the air, what would it be? We don't have an answer. There's no specific. I mean, by the time all of the CDs to the trilogy are done, when put onto maybe one CD or played live, although they're so different within themselves, when you mix the songs within a set, it's going to flow. It's not going to sound like 3 different bands. It's going to sound like Blue Movie putting a little twist on this, Blue Movie putting a little twist on that, but with no doubt, it will be Blue Movie.
Right. And every single EP, we dedicated ourselves doing one remake. On this first one, we did On the Loose from Saga, a band back in the late 70s.
Right.
Which, if you saw the video, you died laughing. Yeah. The second one, we're actually doing a remake of Save a Prayer, which is not ready, from Duran Duran. Wow. And the third one, well, I don't know. Actually, we already know what the third one is.
That's actually the key to how we decided, okay, we love so many different styles of music. Where are we taking this part of the trilogy? Oh, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, please don't hold your breath. Actually,
nobody wants to remake Mbop.
But getting back to how we all met, then after Daniela came in,
Daniela.
now we're like, man, now we got this thing. We got 2
an entire
girls.
album recorded. We need vocals.
Yeah, well, we had everything ready to go.
You guys have the talent. Were any of you considering, playing frontman?
No.
No. I mean, yesterday was like PG wasn't there. We're rehearsing. I'm like, la 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 la. The guy walks in. He probably, he gave us all the compliments. He probably walked out like, yo, man, this
He caught me in the hallway. He goes, yo, is
that
your singer who's an American Idiot? I'm like,
no.
I'm like, our singer isn't even in the state.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, we were looking like, where are we going to find a vocalist to actually front this band? It's like now this is going to be a major thing.
It had to be specific.
Yeah, and I had a bunch of people in mind from working with many different bands, but this guy kept hitting us up, but not showing up. He's like, I'll be there next week. Oh, no, I'm in freaking Texas. No, I'll be there. Okay, now I'm in LA. No, I'll be there. I'm in the North Pole or some shit. So finally,
I'm going to be here to do a radio show, but I'm in Dallas.
He kept hitting Daniela up, and we kept putting him off because we weren't sure what was going on. That's what happened. He's like, can I come down? Yo, can I come down? You guys want to jam? You guys want to do this? And we kept kind of, I don't even know what the reason at that point was.
Because Daniela kept describing him. She's like, you know what, this guy, he looks like an LA. I'm like, oh, man, not another LA person with blonde hair and all this other stuff coming down here. Like, what's up, dude? Sure enough, we're like, okay, let's just do it. He walks in, he's like, what's up, guys? You know? What's up?
As soon as he was like, can I get more music in my cans? We're like, oh yeah.
No, but when he walked in the first night that we actually met him, he came down to the studio to do like a song. PJ, he walked in. The very first thing Daniela says, like, yo, Tony, he's got the same shoes on as you. I'm like, oh, I go, okay, that's a good thing, I guess, But you know what? He just had a, it's just kind of because you're looking at him and you're like, okay, this guy's not going to be doing this kind of stuff, But yeah, you know what? He locked in like that. It couldn't have been, I mean, we tried out other people like, yo, dude.
You know what it is?
Go change a tire or something.
There's a package that we were looking for.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a lot of dealings in the fashion industry. Which you can talk about that in a second with a couple things. But, we needed someone who could not only sing, but who could front a band. I don't want to say anyone can sing, but there's a difference between singing and fronting a band.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's also a very important element, which is having that marketable look, having that way about you.
It's being able to have the pipes, but having that showmanship to command a stage.
Right. Absolutely.
And then having the look on top of it.
Right.
Right.
You have to have the presence.
Right. Yes. And the thing about PJ is what you see on stage is exactly what he is in person. He's like, you can't turn him off. It's like you have to walk out of the room or just like hit him with a bat.
What you see live is what we get at rehearsal. Like, that's the way it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we interview guys at Comic-Con, and he seemed a little mellowed down, but I'm guessing because it was like 3 days at Javits Center, you guys are tired. I know we were tired. I know we were definitely tired.
God, yeah.
No, but he's definitely not the mellow. I mean, watching him on stage is like, from everybody else's perspective, it's like we don't know. We're like, oh, what's he gonna do now?
The funniest thing I think was somebody had said, because he'll say things and he'll be joking, but he'll say them seriously, or he'll just make like these off the wall references, and people would be like, was he serious or was he kidding? We couldn't tell, but we liked it.
Yeah. Right. So it's very interesting.
Now, real quick, I do gotta ask.
Well, we got to bring it back. How'd you get your name for your band?
That's where I was going.
Oh yeah, well again the name situation. I was like, I told the girls, listen, whatever. I don't want to be called the anything.
It's a little risque, so let's.
It is. It originally came from a Sneaker Pimp song when we were discussing like what direction we should take the new album. Danielle and I are very big into the Sneaker Pimps, and they had this one song called Blue Movie, and it had that feel and it had that sound like we kind of wanted to go with. And Danielle was like, that should just be it. We should just call ourselves Blue Movie. And we thought, you know what? That's not really a bad little twist because, you have to play on things, Mm-hmm. There's the play on words. I mean, when you pop Blue Movie in, Google, other things besides us come up. But it's, and it was a chance. But, let's just go with it. I mean, we have that, the guy-girl theme we have. Like, let's just do it. And the name is cool, and we... Like it just fit. It just happened. We're like, that's it.
It's so funny because the very first couple of things that we have a team that does like the Facebook stuff. So PJ's like, yo man, when you post this video, tag it with like pornographic stuff like this and that because it's Blue Movie. Sure enough, he did it all of a sudden.
And the hits just kept on coming.
Tag it with like
Gotta be smart.
But yeah,
that's what I've been doing wrong with all of our marketing.
Just tag our name.
It's ingenious disingenuity.
I'm sorry, guys. We are starting to run out of time.
Right.
But one of the things I really do want to ask about, do you guys have a gig story to tell us? Something over the top, bizarre that has happened to one or all of you on any one particular night at a venue?
Well,
I don't know how fair that would be.
Well, there's a lot of things that have happened. Not really with Blue Movies. So I really wouldn't say.
No, we're pretty.
No. We'll keep it band oriented.
Oh,
so.
band.
No, we're like there should be no mistake. We are like one band of brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Like let's just get
I won't
that.
call Danielle out on this one. I have to just. You know what? I don't care if she's listening.
And I know what you're gonna say.
I'm just gonna say it.
Go
so
for
like
it.
we're at this sound stage.
You do realize you're taking the heat off yourself right now, right? Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go.
So we're on the sound stage. It's really grand opening of the sound stage that our friend Danny Stan, who happens to actually manage a lot of like these 80s bands, a lot of them, okay? So he had this grand stage. He goes, look, come on up, jam, whatever. All right, so we're waiting around. Then the other starts having, one too many or whatever, so she fell off the stage. Which was pretty awesome.
And that was a story she was hoping that most people didn't see her do. So if you missed it, you just heard about it.
But the funny thing is she fell off the stage before she got on it. She was on her way onto the stage. She kind of halfway made it up, and the stage was like literally like up to here. Boom! Right
there has to be a camera video on YouTube somewhere.
Basically, yeah. There's got to be something.
Tony,
sorry,
come on, give it up. I know you have a copy of it.
Oh yes.
You mentioned your fashion. Throw that out there real quick.
Yeah. What happened is we are actually we're very known in the fashion industry. We've done a lot of things with Monica Lorenzo, the photographer. Ava Mueller, they're all fashion because they picked us because we have a certain style. We get stylists, actually stylists, etc. Because again, having the girls in the band and PJ who does all the stuff he does with theater, etc. is just a plus. So basically, we've done the Tommy Hilfiger events, etc. like that just have happened. And
Very
hey, look,
nice.
it's a plus.
German TV was another thing. Ava Mueller, we did that.
Yeah, it's
we did the Red TV, which is our equivalent of E! Entertainment.
Yeah.
So if you go to YouTube and you look us up, or if you go to our website, which is actually bluemoviemusic.com, you can see all of our YouTube videos, and it's up there. It's in German, but it's up there.
Das ist gut.
Yes.
Das ist very good.
Very good.
All right.
That's not German. That's barely even a German accent.
We are starting to run out of time. One of the things that I did want to bring up too is what else besides for the EP, do we have anything lined up for the new year that we should be looking out for with you guys?
Well, actually, it's going to be hopefully 2 EPs. We are.
I don't think we've said the name of the new one yet, have we?
Oh, yeah, you say it.
That might happen. Yeah, that might want to do that. Delusions in Technicolor is actually going to be released next month.
After many fights.
Yeah.
That,
I heard it's still getting mixed right now.
No,
So I'm,
2 more songs. Yeah, 2 more songs and we're done with it. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So Delusions in Technicolor, we're actually going to release it in February, for sure. And as soon as that's released, we'll have 2 videos that we're going to do for this one. And this time, I think we're going to have some say. So maybe not.
We have a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on the table. And one thing that I definitely would just like to do tonight is I really want to thank Silver Fox. Silver Fox Drumsticks is actually one of my endorsers, and I've been with them for quite some time. And they're so behind me. And anytime I post something on their site, they're the first ones to repost on Facebook. And I want to thank them for going ahead and reposting for something I did for the Women of Armageddon and for tonight's radio show. And every time I have a little something going on and I let them in on it, they make a big deal about it. And I just want to thank them. Their product is amazing, and they're a great company.
Very cool.
Very awesome.
Guys, we are going to call it for the night. I want to thank you guys for
Thank
coming
you
out
again.
and hanging
It was
out.
awesome.
Remember to check out Blue Movie Music.
Yeah, Blue Movie
.com.
Music. We couldn't do Blue Movie because
All of our social
Ron
medias.
Jeremy already had taken.
Well, you could. Well, you could. It would just cost a lot of money to get that domain.
All of our social media can be found on the homepage. We have Twitter, we have MySpace, we have obviously Facebook, Reverb Nation. Anything and everything that you'd be looking for is right on the homepage.
And it's family
Like a
safe.
Reddit, 4chan. And
Despite what the tag says, it's family safe.
Exactly. It's good, clean family fun.
And of course, I do want to thank Taffy Darling for calling in with her review this week. It's always great talking to her. Guys, that's going to do it. Once again, guys, thank you for coming
again.
out. It was a
Thank you
pleasure. We
very
got to have you
much.
back. Hopefully, we'll have
Definitely.
everybody back.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's going to about do it. I'm Longshot Ken.
I'm the monkey boy.
I'm the big dog, Dan.
And I'm Big Papa Pete.
Loud
Loud
idiots.
idiots. Out!
Stop pretending like it's getting better. Give up
Boogie.